Hello, my peoples. What's up? Welcome to Semper Ludimus. What does Semper Ludimus mean, Liz?
It means we always play, and we do. So we are continuing our list of games that we play a lot.
We play a lot. We play these games more than any. We are continuing our top 50-50. Liz and I, gaming besties, contributors to the Dice Tower, have combined forces. We are running through our top 50 games, which was a stretch goal from a recent Kickstarter that happened earlier in the year. So we are banging it out. As long as Liz is on summer vacation, sort of summer vacation, because I know you're teaching summer classes, but this is a much better time to get you to do a list like this than normal.
No, that's true. Absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing summer school, but it's a lighter load right now. So this is the time.
Mm-hmm. I have no summer school. My thing keeps going. But we're doing our best over here. So we did one video already for 50 to 41 for both of us. So you're getting 20 games per video. And we're going to give you another 20 games, 10 from me, 10 from Liz, and we're going to keep going. This is a summer spectacular, so please enjoy everything else that the Dice Tower has to offer for the summer spectacular. So a lot of things coming together for us, and also teaching Latin. Liz will teach you Latin, whether you like it or not. You thought you were on summer vacation, people. No, Liz will teach you.
I just want you to convince people that you're smart at cocktail parties.
All right, so we are going to get right into it. We are going to go number 40 to 31 this time. And so 40 would be what in Roman numerals?
Just XL. It's 10 before 50.
XL. Okay. So What is your XL?
All right. It is actually, okay. So this is a game I just deeply love because, and he's been on my podcast, my European history teacher and model UN coach, Mr. Whitehead, used to let us play games after we finished our work in his class. And this was my absolute favorite. I loved it so much that I begged my boyfriend to give it to me for Christmas one year because I wanted to play it with my own students. And I have been doing so for like 7 years now. It is Ivanhoe. It's like it's this old like GMT Beer and Pretzels card game.
Okay. What?
It's like an old.
You said you weren't gonna make me eye roll in the last video, but now I'm gonna count that one. What?
You're ahead of me now. So Ivanhoe is wonderful because it's deliciously mean. And I think like it's a little bit Uno-ish in that you're trying to kind of keep laying the same color, but you're trying to one up people in terms of numbers. You get these special action cards that let you mess up other people's displays and just generally make them mad. It's amazing when you get everybody to put their little jousting cards down and they really think they're going to win, but you have the break lance card that clears out their entire display and then they look like they're going to cry. I'm great to my students.
It better be short. It can be mean as you want as long as it's short. Yeah,
it's short. So basically, like you're playing.
Do not extend the misery on these games.
No, but the kids love it, and once they learn how to play it, you can hear them yelling at each other across the room when they finish their work, just like I did, and it makes me feel just really happy, like a sense of passing gaming down through the generations. And I will, of course, get in there and whoop up on them occasionally. So
nice.
It's just it's just one of those games that I love because of the role it's played in my life.
Nice. So that's Ivanhoe, our number XL. Liz's number XL. My number XL is I'm gonna count this an eye roll game, even though you know it's coming. So I'm not going to. You're not going to shock you as much, but because you know this one's coming. But I know you don't like this game as much as nearly as much.
Okay. Okay.
You put Street Masters on the list from Blacklist Games, the Sadler Brothers. I'm putting Brook City as my representative MDS game. I know you don't like it because you had the expansion, you gave them to me. You're like, here, take them.
But they went to a good home.
They went to a good home. Yes. Brook City is. Let's see if I could get that in the list. Yeah. It's here.
Yes.
It's hiding behind the microphone there. No, Brook City is another the modular deck system card game for that Sadler Brothers. Sentinels on Multiverse. You have fixed decks, and you're kind of like realizing your hero on the way. Brook City is the cop action, very movie-based type game, set in a modern urban setting. So think like, Tango and Cash, and think Benson from Law & Order SVU has a character in this game. So like, Dexter has a character. There's a lot of different like kind of like tropes. And like it's not a perfect game at all. I think there's a definite kind of flaw in the center of it, which is that there's an enemy deck and then there's a scenario deck, and they don't really cross. So like you kind of like doing two things at once, kind of having a little bit of a schizophrenic experience. So I don't like that. But I like movement puzzles. This game gives you a big board, like a big one. And you can, and they give you resources to move 25 if you need to, like, because you get these cars. You get to jump in a car, you could jump out of a helicopter, you get a little moped that can drive in and out of the buildings. Very evocative, thematic. So it is still my favorite MDS game. I know I liked Alter Quest. Alter Quest is another one of those games that has a big board and a lot of movement puzzle and everything. Just, it's fantasy. And like we talked about last time, fantasy can get a little bit generic if you don't really wrinkle it up. I don't have a lot of cop action games. I don't have a lot of like urban chase and solving cases games. And just that combined with the movement puzzle and some of the thematic elements makes Brick City a no-brainer. Like that was definitely one of those things where I was like, okay, it's on there definitely. Now just where to slot it. So yeah, I'm gonna count that as an eye roll, Liz, because you probably had. Did you have that experience with in terms of the different decks not really working together? Is that what didn't work for you?
Yeah, it just didn't come together for me completely. So, but I did not roll my eyes. I said, well, my expansions went to a good home. You can do a bless your heart on that one.
I'm counting it though. That was my number XL Brick City. So 39. Oh man, 39 is XXXV. No, XXXIX.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Excellent. Number
Also, I
39
forgot to make the old boring Roman numeral joke, which is that in Rome, size L is larger than size XL. Because L is 50 and XL is 40.
Okay. I had no idea that was an actual joke, Liz. That was dude. That people are groaning.
That's okay, dude. My job is to torture children. I can spread that torture to others.
There you go. All right. So you're number 39.
So my number 39 is another game that I teach a lot, and I really like this one because I have played it with my parents a bunch of times, and it's kind of like bridging them over into board games. So it's also Trick Taker. So I just generally like trick taking games. I love hearts. I haven't gotten to play spades a lot, but I really like it. If it's a trick taking game, I will at least try it. And this is one that it's a trick taker that still feels really close to like a normal card deck, which is why I really like to introduce it to people. And that is Diamonds. Really like Diamonds.
Okay.
And I like it because
Rook.
No, I've never actually played that one.
Oh, okay.
I like Diamonds because I feel like it's basically just having a deck of cards, but with a couple of gamey upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if people have already played Hearts or something with their family, which a lot of people have, it's a nice little transition game into like helping them enjoy a little more bling and, a couple of additional challenges while also bridging with something that's very familiar.
Right. Okay. No, I like Diamonds a lot.
Yeah, like I'll play it anytime.
Yeah, as just a really simple game to play with the family. I prize games you can play with your family. I have a lot of those games in terms of games of like a lower overhead. I need evangelical games, I call them. This is an evangelical game. You can play this with anybody. I'm going on about this because my number 39. Okay, bring haters out there. Bring it. Here it is, right here. Every game I rated before is 8.5. Now I'm gonna get into my 9s, and there's a game that I gave a 9 on the Dice Tower. I got a lot of flame for it, and I don't care. I love this game. You called it, Liz. You called this game. What game I'm going to talk about?
It's going to be Uno.
Gotta be Uno.
But
Yes.
I will play Uno with you. The next time we're at a gaming convention, let's break out Uno and just see if people can resist.
Right in the middle of a like PAX Unplugged or whatever else we go to. We're just going to break out Uno, baby.
You can't embarrass me.
It's not just a game for kids. Like I play the tar of this game with this kid. I got like Disney princess version. So like she matches, Elsa, or not Elsa, Belle and Aurora and all this other things. So that's cool. But that's a separate aspect to it. And that's a bonus for me. I still play this game with adults. I still play this game with in therapy. It's my go-to game in therapy. If someone just wants to relax and have a good time, it's a universally taught rule set. Everybody understands Uno. And if they don't know it, it takes 30 seconds to teach. Like, here, match the colors and match the numbers. And then the things explain themselves, like the reverse in this kit. People get that. And I play with the community rules. I'm calling them community rules because, calling them house.
Stack.
What's that?
You stack.
I stack. I stack, draw 2s and draw 4s. I'll even play so there's a variant where you can take all of like the special cards out of another deck and stick them in there. So like you have double the +2s and the reverses and the wilds. Those games get gnarly. And you know, it's a legitimately fun time. And of course, like any game, I'm gonna get tired of it if you give me Thief between 20 times. But like if it, you know, I will come back to it. I mean, I come back to it in session, and maybe that's coloring my opinion of it because you know I've seen people relax, you know, when I just lay down a simple game. And there's a couple others, and there's a couple others that I'm going to talk about a little bit further up the list that I do to kind of get people to bring down their guard. But this one just universally works. You know, it's a comfortable game. It's I think it's a triumph. I triumph. I say, people. Uno is legitimately awesome. My number 39.
You know what? I can't disagree with it. You know, if you get Uno out in a room full of teenagers, you instantly have their attention. Actually, to teach Roman numerals, like the first few anyway, I actually have created like little bootleg Latin Uno decks before with like the numbers written on them.
You're such a geek.
But you know what? The set that I originally made got destroyed, and I'm gonna have to make new ones if I ever want to do it again because that's how much the kids played it. There you go.
All right.
And they knew their numbers. So painlessly.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of pain in it. Don't worry about it. You have to draw 45.
All right. So I think my 38 might be an eye roller for you. It is a really I think it's a classic. It's an airplane game. It's RAF Battle of Britain, 1940. Oh, look at Jason. Don't listen to him, everyone. So RAF Battle of Britain.
I'm closing the window down now. All right, here we go.
It's designed by John Butterfield. He is a titan among board game designers of war games. And it's basically a game where you are you're the RAF and you are patrolling for and trying to defend against raids from German soldiers. So the Luftwaffe is trying to fly in and hurt you, and you are trying to defend your airspace, and you have to worry about weather and how you're positioning your guys, and there's different sorts of combats, and I just really like it. It's a fun game that's really trying to pay attention to some historical realities of, you know, that time period and what air combat was like. And it's also, you know, an enjoyable solitaire game that kind of has a story because it's like, no, don't come in Luftwaffe. I get really into it. So it turns out I like games about airplanes. Who knew? It's not the only one.
I know some of the other ones that are going to be on the list. Not the only airplane game. Just the question of where some of these games are going to be. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm kind of active. I know I'm prepared for the war gaming love. So we're definitely going to get more than a few.
One of us has to have taste. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. All right. So speaking of simple card play, I talked about Uno for 39. We're going to go to a very simple card game called Gloomhaven. No, it is not that simple. It is card play though. And what is it doing at number 38? First of all, it's 9 out of 10. So like that's still a really, really high rating. It should be higher because it's my type of game. It is totally my type of game. It's a long campaign, and it is, you know, fantasy, fighting monsters, and doing card combos. And there's going to be a couple of those games in this list. Gloomhaven is just a lot to chew on. You know, it takes you a long time to level your character. It takes you a long time to feel like you've done anything. So there's a lot of games that kind of like put a lot into the core experience. So like you sit there for your 2 hours, your 3 hours, and you really feel like you've done something. At a game of Gloomhaven, I feel like I've kind of checked a box, and I have like 7 or 8 more boxes to check before I really feel like I've done something. I just feel like it's a little bit stretched out. So I have not played Jaws of the Lion. I've played it like a little bit. I haven't like really gone through like the campaign and seen what was done. Like I'm assuming if Jaws of the Lion really hits for me, this will shoot way up. But the actual Gloomhaven, even though it's 9 out of 10, even though it's an excellent game, just a little bit drawn out for me. So we'll see if Jaws of the Lion fixes that. So I know I have a feeling Gloomhaven is going to be here somewhere for you, right?
Never.
I don't know. That's my number. XXX VIII Gloomhaven.
Nice, very nice. All right, so My number 37 is another game. I don't know if you'll react to this one or not, but if you like States of Siege, this is like the ultimate siege game for me, a victory point game. And it's Dawn of the Zeds.
Yes.
And it's
Okay.
so
Yes.
good. Like
Mhm.
you're protecting
Yeah. Super good.
Farmingdale against these like zombie hordes, and you have to coordinate efforts in like the towns that are surrounding you, and you get to look for a cure. And it's also one of those games that
Be careful
has
about coordinated efforts because this is such a solo game.
it
This is
is.
such a like it. This is a classic where you can play this cooperatively, but you are going to be bored in
Yeah,
your turn.
why? Yeah.
Lie. This is a solo game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a wonderful solo game. It's hard, and it's also one of those games that looks scary at first because it's got a lot of rule books. But that's because you have like different difficulty levels that you can play with, so you can kind of walk your way into the game. I really should do a series about this. I'll probably just say that a bunch of times as I go up this list, actually. But it's a really good solo game. I like it a lot. It's probably my favorite zombie game.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a good one.
All right. Very cool. No, Dawn of Zeds. I dig it. We should coordinate on a Semper Ludimus review on the Dice Tower because
That would be good. Yeah.
we have not. I don't think the Dice Tower has a review of Dawn of the Zeds, so we'll coordinate on that one.
Yeah, we should do that.
All right. So my 37 is Mechs versus Minions. So Mechs versus Minions came out in 2016, and just it really landed like a nuclear bomb in the middle of a hobby. You know, a video game company decides to produce this like really grandiose game, cooperative deck builder, but with like all these scenarios and all these tiles and game trays and beautiful minis like painted and pre-painted and pre-washed. So like really amazing production quality. I don't even like it for that. Well, that's not why I like it. Right. What I like it is it's just a really excellent game. You know, a deck builder, but with like tactical movement on a board. And so you're completing these scenarios. And I've gone through, you know, the whole thing. And I just gleefully, this game does a great job of climaxing very well in terms of its endings for things. You are so powerful and you are wiping the board of all these minions by the time you get to it. And it happens every time. So like you start small and you end up big, and it just gives you that really satisfying which is what a deck builder, it realizes what a deck builder should do. Not every deck builder does that or successfully does that in terms of like giving you that huge climax at the end. Had never supported, never like officially supported anyway. I think there's a lot of fan scenarios for it, but never officially supported. So you know, it's just kind of like sitting on the top of my shelf waiting for new content. But I can't forget the fun that I had, and I'm sure that if someone was curious about it, they said, "Oh, like let's play another campaign of this," because I heard a lot of great things. I would have no problem. It's like let's do it. So Mechs vs. Minions is going to stay there. My number 37, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong choice. That's a good one.
All right, have you partaken?
Yeah, I haven't actually finished, and I need to. It's like in my closet, needs to come back out.
It won't happen.
Some fun.
We say that. We say, oh, we didn't say that. Oh, we're gonna get to that one day. Too much new stuff comes out.
Don't give up hope. Right? All right, so my number 36 is a game that, okay, I have a hard time recommending it to people depending on what kind of subject matter you're willing to play. I really like it. I think it's a brilliant game. I like it because of what it's trying to do. And that is Labyrinth, the War on Terror. So this is a game
we
where
are deep in the bowels of your wargaming.
That's, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of bowel there.
It's who I am. They call it the large intestine for a reason. I'm sure.
There you go. That's pretty big.
All right, so I really like Labyrinth. It is okay. So it's got some of the same DNA as Twilight Struggle, which is an absolutely amazing game. It's not going to be on this list because I just haven't gotten to play it enough. Like I've played it several times, but it doesn't hit my table enough that I felt like it made sense on my top 50 list. Mm-hmm. It's great. Labyrinth is probably not as good a game as Twilight Struggle, but it's a game that's really, it's soloable, which is one of the things I like about it, but it's a game that pits you as the United States in the solo game versus basically Al-Qaeda. And so you are going through these world events that I really remember, and it's continued to be updated over time. Like there's a new expansion that came out that kind of brings things up into, I think, the Obama years. And so I would really like to get that so I can explore that. But if you want to explore a historical situation with a game on a difficult topic that's still just really interesting, it's got that same push and pull kind of feel that Twilight Struggle has, then I think that Labyrinth might be a really good choice for you. If that kind of squicks you out, then I also think that's okay. I mean, board games are about what personal experiences we're willing to have.
Sure. No, that's definitely one of those games where like it shouldn't be in the mass market. Right. And I think that, when we think of board games and talk about difficult topics, like we're not saying that every board game needs to be at Target, or like every board game needs to be, like broadly available to anybody. When we say board games can tell these stories and make these historical arguments, as Liz would say, what we're saying is they can make the arguments, be very careful about, who is it and how it's presented. And, I mean, really, you can trust Liz, if it's on this list, you can that it's handling the subject with care.
Yeah, actually, at the SD HistCon this year, I had Volko come in to talk to me and a panel about games on historical topics, and he talked a lot about decisions that he made trying to go into this game. And you may not agree with every choice that he made, but the game was thought out, which there's a lot of work that went into this, a lot of research. So, you can actually get a lot from him and his perspectives on it. And I actually would like to interview him myself about this game.
All right. Very cool. So that was your number 36, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 36, I do not own because I don't ever own legacy games. That is my friend. Buys all the legacy games for me so that I can play. I am going to play version 0 of this game actually next week. That is my treat for my birthday. It was just my birthday. I love it. But this one is Pandemic Legacy Season 2.
All right.
Not as popular as Pandemic Legacy Season 1. The number 2 was bigger, longer. The games were longer. The games were really long. Like, Legacy Season 1 was like, kind of like the Avengers kind of running around. Here, a little bit weightier, a little bit, little bit complexity. Who's the good guys? Who's the bad guys? They tried to do a lot. And I feel like most people felt there was a little bit too much. Like if they liked one, then 2 gave them something too different. Me, I want different. I like different stuff. And I thought that the ending of the game was amazing. I love the way that Pandemic Legacy ended. Most people didn't even get there because they ran into trouble around March, April. And that's what people are saying. So, oh yeah, me too. I ran into trouble March, April. Yes, part of the design. There was some clues in the flavor text that didn't quite get communicated, and some people just kind of like did, because a lot of people don't read the flavor text. They just kind of like want the experience,
right?
And I think that's a lesson learned for Rob Davio and Matt Leacock, who we'll see if 0 for me picks that up. But I still enjoyed it. It's still Pandemic. Pandemic's still my favorite game. Yes, people, that's my number 1 game. Guess my number 2. That's going to be the game of the top 50. But Legacy Season 2 just gave me enough good stuff. It's reverse Pandemic, so like instead of like taking the cubes out, you have to put the cubes back. And just it's 16 games of Pandemic. How can I say no with a legacy thing? How can I say no? It's awesome.
Fair enough.
But not for everybody. It's not a universal recommendation. Pandemic, I mean, speaking to Liz, I do not have to speak to Liz about this is not a universal recommendation. Pandemic Legacy Season 2, my number 36.
Awesome. You know what? To love a game so much and have so many options for it. Mage Knight. I need more, even more.
This really could have been. I could have done 12.
Have you done the rank? You have to have done ranking the pandemics by now.
Yeah, I've done top 10 pandemics. Okay, yeah. Right. And we're getting the little ones. The little ones, Hot Zone is coming out, so there's more Pandemic coming. Although those aren't my favorite, but hey, look, I'm just happy to have it in my life.
Fair enough. All right, so actually, I would say that my number 35 is a universal recommendation. I think that it's a war-themed game, but I think anybody can play it. Anybody can enjoy it. It's so good. It's so good. It's the only 2-player game I've ever bothered to actually make a review of because I played it that much. And it's Undaunted Normandy.
I don't think of that as a war game because it's so good.
It's war theme. Yeah. It's well, what? Theme, it's so because it's so good. Jason. Rude. Get out. Get off the show.
Be a war game. Sorry, people. War gamers. David Thompson. I know David Thompson's out there. Have my back.
So David Thompson, Trevor Benjamin designed this together. It's so good. And it is just a delight. Like, it's easy to learn. It's really hard at the same time because you're really like trying to figure out the other person. There is a solo mode that's going to exist for this, although it's not out yet. I'm very curious about how that will be done. But I just really like it. If somebody's like, hey Liz, you want to play Andante with me? I'm gonna be like, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just really, really good. Good enough that I found other people to play it with me enough times to actually do a review. And that is saying something for a solo reviewer. But yeah, I'm a fan. They also have a North Africa version, and there's more to come in the series. I know a few things from talking to David about the future. It's gonna get good.
A new version that's in fantasy kind of gothic horror called Dire Alliance coming from Blacklist, using the same system.
Nice. Yes.
No, great. No. I totally approve, but not for the reason you thought.
How dare you? If there's a special, if you wake up in hell, I hope it's full of war games, all for you, and that's all the games there are.
We haven't even gotten halfway through the list. I'm already being consigned to hell. This is terrible. All right, so my number 35. So now we're getting into kind of my core taste. There's a lot of these type of games. I just love cooperative games. I love cooperative games. I do. And some of these games are going to be simple, but like they have, that's kind of my golden lane for me. Simple to get to and just give me that pop. A good cooperative game will give you like a couple of those pop moments where it's like you solve the puzzle and it's like, wow, this is so great. So this is definitely one of them. Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time. So,
what's that?
Yeah. What is that?
That sounds cool.
Not quite an eye roll because it's like, what? This one is actually, it's on the shelf right over there. It's right there. Yep, up and down over there. Just like a nondescript white box of fun. So a little bit like Burgle Brothers. So it's a heist scenario, but you are invading Professor Evil's lair, and Professor Evil has some treasures that he's stolen, and you have to steal them back. So then so that's it's a heist situation, and I think we both like kind of stealthy and running around, that kind of stuff. Yeah. You have Assassin's Creed. Those videos are up on the Beyond Solitaire channel, the How to Solo. People are getting their Assassin's Creed in the next couple of months or so. So we're both fans of stealth. So this is like kind of in that vein. It's not like as deep or anything like that. It's like a family cooperative game. What I like about this game, the theme is great. What I like about this game is the swings. So, the professor's running around and it's operated by dice, and the professor could really bork you. And you're just like, go where you're going, close all the doors, lock all the things. And you're like, oh my God, what's happening? But the game gives you enough resources in terms of cards and in terms of one-time powers that you can put it together and just like, what? I'm just going to use everything and then turn the board to my favor for like one turn. And just managing your resources to the point where you can do that, where you have enough to kind of overcome when the professor's really going against you, is amazing. I'm like, yes, it's one of those games that generates those like, yes, I did it. And I didn't it wasn't like a burning brain puzzle, but just it's fun and light. And I love kind of heist games in general. So Professor Evil, I adore this game. It's again, but you've never heard of it, and it's not a game that hasn't gotten a lot of pub. Had one expansion. I don't know if it's going to be expanded again, but no, Professor Evil in my collection forever.
That sounds good. We should play that sometime.
I will absolutely share. You had come to Connecticut one time. We played Rescue Polar Bears together, which Rescue Polar Bears was like in my 50s. So very, very high game. So it's a kind of in that vein of like, let's just play a really fun, cooperative game at the table. And you had fun with Rescue Polar Bears, right?
I did. Yeah, I actually have it, and I teach it to students now.
Nice.
So,
so in that
it worked out well.
So Professor Evil and Citadel of Time, my number 35. Number 34, Liz, give me another obscure war game.
Actually, it is not. It is an old Civ game. Old by today's standards of it's been out for more than 2 months. It is now old.
It is pre-pandemic, so therefore.
So no, I love this game. The solo's fine, but I actually really love to play it with other people. And we're kind of running out of those on my list, but I made sure to put some in because I feel like that's something I don't cover normally. I love Nations. I really do. I absolutely love Nations. It's a Civ game. You have your country with some options for different sorts of actions. You can upgrade them. You can get more workers to go do stuff, but then you have to be able to feed them. And so there's always this like tension of what you need to do to cover everything that you're putting out there, but you also want to get new things done. You have to decide if you're going to get involved in a war. It's just great. Like, I really, really like to play Nations. Every time I play it, I get so into thinking several steps ahead and being obsessive about, like, oh, what do I want to do? What's my plan? Damn, they took the tile I wanted. And, you know, I like it a lot. So, you know, it's just one of those ones that I think is a nice classic Civ game.
Sure.
I will say that the last time I looked it up, I thought it was also massively overpriced. So wait for a good price if you're going to get it. You don't have it already,
or trade for it. You can find
yes,
it.
yes.
Trade finder.
Also, the dice game's pretty fun too.
No, I have a Civ game on here. It is not Nations, though I approve of your choice. Nations is good. All right. So that I do not have. This is not a Civ game that I'm going to talk about next from another 34. Another light, simple, fun cooperative game. You guys know my taste at this point. This one is Endangered. This one is from Gamers Guild. It is the game about animal conservation. You know, you have it's scenario based, and each scenario is like tuned to an animal, and that's absolutely part of the draw of this game. So like you're saving tigers and sea otters, and you know there's a new expansion coming out that's going to have all these different animals and all different scenarios, and you are environmental types, and you are saving the animals, but also trying to do the long-term thing with pleasing ambassadors from the United Nations. So like, you have to get kind of the world policy to, be on your side. So you can't just like, kind of do the short-term thing, also the long-term there as well. So it creates those tough choices. That's what cooperative games do. Like, do I save the animal or do I do the long-term thing, which might mean saying goodbye to a tiger once in a while? No. No, I have to go visit the UN now, but no. And this one is operated by Dice. It is a dice worker placement game, and you can the dice you can lay out cards that are basically worker spots, to create more options for you. I think this game, it's not a perfect game at all. I think there are, like a lot of these games, it's kind of depends on your realization of the theme, at least for me. And this one just does such a good job with the theme. It's right there. Look at that. There's so many of these games. It's front and center, people, on my shelf. But yeah, no, Endangered is fabulous. My number 34.
That's awesome. I've not played that, and I'm curious.
Another one. I think it's a rescue. It is not as cute as Rescue, because Rescue has the polar bears, and they make little polar bear babies, and that's cute. This one's doesn't have quite that in terms of that cute factor, because it's like wooden meeples and everything.
Yeah.
But there is I think it's kind of on the same tip as that. I think that if you like Rescue Polar Bears, I think you would like this one too.
Nice, very nice. All right, so as I'm looking at my list, I think that this just sort of reveals, like, I'm not old school in the sense that I play games that are truly like from back in the day, but this one kind of is actually.
Avalon Hill, you're not going back to the 70s?
Nah,
because that's true old school right there.
No, I mean,
at least how some people mean it.
This is an older game that's had fresh life, and I just love it. Like, I know that its mechanisms might not be for everybody, but I just love it. I've got 3 boxes of it. I want the 4th one. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Sherlock Holmes. I love solving mysteries. Like, if it's like a mystery game, I'm probably in. I like trying to figure out how to put clues together. I also do not play Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective correctly, because I refuse to try to like race. It's like, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look at everything and just enjoy the whole newspaper.
They put that scoring system in just to be able to justify selling it and the game section. That's all. It's like, we're going to make it a game. We're going to give you scoring. It's like, but we're not going to do that. So
don't do it. Don't bother. Just enjoy like the cool, like, Victorian world that it evokes. Also, if you're going to get it and you haven't already, go for the Space Cowboys editions of things, because the older printings have a lot of errors. So if you get an old one, check BGG if a case seems like it's not making sense, because there's probably something wrong. Yeah, this, our own Paul Grogan has had a hand in the editing of later entries and later printings, and so his attention to detail.
I don't know if you're watching, but I'm gonna wait for it.
So yeah, I really love Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I really do. Like, even the box that I finished, it's like I just can't let him go. Eventually I will. But
I respect it. Very much respect it. Okay. So that was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. That number 34, number 33, right? That was your
number 33.
Okay, my number 33. Another game that gives me the feels. It is so cute. It is Takenoko. Takenoko is one of those games that I can actually like. So my daughter's 5, going on 6, gonna be 6 next month, and she can't play Takenoko, but like I lay it out, and she's like, "Ooh, panda game."
Aw.
How can I not? It's not just about the game, people. It's about the production and the draw of it, and how you makes you feel, and looking at it, and like that matters to me. And just
Aw.
Takenoko, and it's just a solid game in and of itself. So like you have your panda. It's a central panda. It's not like it's a shared panda, and you're playing. You can operationalize it with your actions, and then you're trying to score points. So like you're trying to score points depending on how much bamboo you eat, how making the tile layout look a certain way so you can score points off of that. So you have your core decisions are pretty involved for a family weight game like this. So you have genuine decisions, and it's just so cute. I love it. Oh, there it is. It's right there.
Aw.
Takenoko. And the chibis. Oh, come on. The female Takenoko that they can give, that birth babies, and the babies are they were a little bit disappointed because they're just like scoring chips. It's like, or like they just like, here, have more points, but whatever. So Takenoko is fabulous. The app, there's an app for it. A little disappointed today because I feel like my app generates the same exact tile layout for me just every single time. I think it's bugged. Ugh, I hate that. Because I want to play Takenoko. Yeah, it's a really, really fabulous one.
That's awesome. I've not actually played it. I would love to.
What? Oh, that's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna get the too many like shrugs for me, because I'm kind of kidding with the word games. I respect them, but like the I haven't played it ones. What are you doing? Takenoko is a classic.
Yeah, but who would I have played it with? Like, it's all about what your game group's got, and I tend to, the people that I play with, they like. I mean, we play a lot of different stuff, just not that. For some reason, it just never came out. And I would never really buy it myself, so it's all about whoever else bought it.
We'll play.
All right. All right.
This is we say this every time. When we get together, we play like a fraction of what we say we're gonna play, but that's gonna be on the list, along with like there's another one that I know you're gonna say that we're gonna play when we get together, and I'll let you know when that is.
All right.
So now number XXXII.
Okay, so my number 32, for those of you who did not want to track that, is
Don't let him off, Liz. Come on.
So this is a game that, so the solo is all right. There's just not enough for it, but I just love the game, and that's Orléans. So it's the medieval French bag builder.
My number 51.
Is it really? I think it's I really like it. So I like Orléans. Anytime somebody wants to play it, I'm in. I find it really enjoyable because I don't know, you're always hoping that you'll draw something good, trying to chain a bunch of actions to make like a whole lot happen with whatever you've got. Mm-hmm. I find that really exciting. And yeah, I mean, are there any other bag builders before this? I don't know. It's the first one that ever crossed my radar, and I now really am interested in bag builders because I like this game so much. So
I mean, deck building is not old. Deck building is so we're bag building is an innovation off of that. So
yeah, but it's a good one. I like it.
I play with Invasion. Invasion is amazing. The cooperative scenario is amazing. Solo scenarios are acceptable.
Yeah, that's the issue.
They're acceptable. Like they're solvable. Like they're good. They're fun if you don't know the game. Or if you just kind of like want to dip in your toe and like play it, but there's no like there in terms of replay. Yeah. But the Invasion scenario is a whole blown out new board. I'm talking about Liz's things. I like it. I like Invasion.
It's good.
It's my number 51. So I'm gonna talk about it. So like it's not like an actual invasion, but like you're setting up kind of like you're supplying the town. Right. Fortifying barracks and filling up your stores of support and everything. It's just a really cool. I love the way they pulled it off. So very good choice. It's over there somewhere. Yeah, there it is. It's over there. I'm not going to go over there because then you'll see it too much in my basement. So number 32 for me, Realms. You mentioned before Realms, Liz, in my second Realms game over here, Hero Realms. I know, pretty high, 9 out of 10, but Hero Realms is fabulous. Hero Realms is a deck builder from Wise Wizard Games, now called Wise Wizard Games. It is a very low overhead competitive 2v2. There's like multiplayer mode, but come on, it's a 2v2 game. Deck builder with a central river, so like there's cards that'll just kind of churn, And you can craft your deck how, according to different strategies, depending on the color that you get. So you can do a strategy with a lot of card draw. You can do a strategy which just has a lot of heavy attack, a lot of money, a lot of bases. So like there's base that you can get that kind of offer protection, some powers that stay on the board as opposed to the regular cards that you just play. There's hero and star. The main difference between the two, besides just the theme, is twofold. One, there's more, they call them champions in hero realms, like more cards that stay out from turn to turn, and there's heavier damage. So hero realms games tend to be punchier. Where Star Realms has like a very stable system. That was the first system. And then the second difference is Hero Realms got the cooperative expansion treatment with like the scenarios. Fabulous. I've been through the scenarios multiple times. There's 2 scenarios out so far. There's gonna be more. So I mean, and I'm in for it. So Debbie, hi. I think Debbie's watching too. Over at Wise Wizard and Rob. Hi. Please come on my show anytime to talk about Hero Realms. I'm all in on it.
Nice.
You're a Star Realms person, right? You like Star Realms.
I do, yeah. It's one of the few games that I can get my boyfriend to go to coffee shop and play with me. So, I mean, we have everything for it.
Yeah.
Like everything. So
and you
I
prefer
think it's
Star
everything.
over Hero, right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of Hero Realms stuff, but for me, Star Realms is and that's weird because normally space games are not my thing, but Star Realms is like one of those rare exceptions. I do like it's a space game that I like.
It's like in Hero Realms, you can get like a 3 cost card that has 7 damage, and it's like, whoa, what happened? It just feels a little bit more unstable of a system. In terms of like an actual system, in terms of the way the numbers and the math work, I prefer Star just because I like I think it has a better tempo, but everything else is going to be Hero for me.
That's fair. Although, what's interesting is that, because I think so little of space games, I made a mistake on this list, which is probably Race for the Galaxy should have been on here somewhere because I really love it.
What?
I just didn't put it on.
What?
I'm bad at making lists. Oh, well.
Change it right now. Change it. I'm editing. Change it.
Flaws in the system. It'll be okay. But that's a great game too. Like honestly, there's so many good games out there. Just whatever I was thinking of at the moment, I was like, oh, I promise somebody I'd make a list. But actually, my 31 is also a space game, believe it or not.
All right.
It is Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
I love Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars is great.
I really, really like trying to come up with interesting combinations of cards, trying to work well with whatever corporation I have. I just get a real kick out of it actually. And I have not played the now controversial card-based version, but I actually got a surprise review copy of that, so I'll be on that soon.
Wow, very cool.
So I actually quite like Terraforming Mars. I enjoy just thinking about different paths to victory and how do I score points and how do I make the most out of what I have, and that game really does that for me. So there you go.
I forgive you for Race for the Galaxy because Terraforming Mars kind of scratches a similar itch of like card combos and like making things kind of this works and this works and this works. So actually, no, I take that back. I don't forgive you for Race for the Galaxy. That's terrible. Anyway,
you're the one that said that something was too fun to be a war game. So
I know.
We'll call it even.
I made a big hole in that one. So my number 31, the last game I'm going to talk about in this section of the videos is behind me. Bang. Both of them, Burger Brothers 1 and 2. Got 1 over here, which is the original packaging, and then 2 was the blown out, production, nice. Which the box caused a few problems. That production didn't exactly go well. I'm gonna say 2 though. I again, this is one of those things where I could have put both on there. They're both 9 out of 10 for me, but I just wanted to kind of consolidate and talk about different games. So I'm just gonna say 2, but I love both. What number 2 does, it is a graduated version of number 1. Number 1 is very easy to teach. Number 2 is more rules. The character's a little bit more complex. As opposed to having like one static player power, you now have modular player powers, like cards you can play and you load them and you play them once and then they kind of turn into something else. So it's a little bit more complex on the player side. And the board itself, same Burgle Brothers, very similar in terms of like, walking around, uncovering the tiles, cracking the safe. But then you get to the finale. Oh, the finales are great. For the most part. Sometimes you might get a draw where it's like real super easy or super hard, but like it's variance, whatever. when it's good, it's so good. And you can, and I don't want to spoil too many of them, but like you get hints on what the scenarios are from the components. So like you have this little football thing that you have to like kind of, it's like like play hot potato basically. So like now you have to play hot potato with one of the things on the way to the exit. There is a car. So yeah, at some point you're gonna be driving that thing around the middle of the casino. There is a tiger, so it's like the Hangover style, where it's like you have to kind of like apparently the tiger is like do something with it, and it's very cinematic and it's very varied. So it in Burger Brothers one the ending I didn't like it so much because it was very chaotic and like not a great way. Here it's so much more vivid and kind of worked into the system that the finale of it is Burger Brothers 2. I love it. That is one of those games. So I took a trip a couple months ago. So I got vaccinated. I'm like, okay, who's vaccinated? I'm visiting you right now. And I took Burger Brothers 2 with me and I played it every single stop that I played. And I had a good time every single time. Fantastic. So that is one of those games where I know we put a lot of those games on the list. We're going to play that. Liz, we are going to play Burger Brothers 2.
Let's do it. We need to just have like Semper Ludimus Con where we just go somewhere and play games.
Just the two of us and whoever can whoever buys into you have to know like 5 Latin words. Like that's the password. You have to be able to say our 5 famous Latin phrases or something along those lines, and we'll let you in the con. All right, so that was our 40 through 31. That was our second video. We are going to keep on going. I hope that you are enjoying the summer spectacular so far for the Dice Tower, and hope that you're enjoying our top 50/50. So this is Jason from Beyond Solitaire.
Is it?
Yeah, this is Jason from Beyond Solitaire. Who are you?
All right, then this will be Liz Davidson from Shelf Stories.
We are reminding you to Semper Ludimus, which means
we always play, and so should you.